Our explorations of Providencia started with a trip to Morgan's Head. This rock formation resembles a head and is named after the pirate Henry Morgan, who used Providencia and Santa Catalina as a base for raiding the Spanish colonial empire. We used this area to start snorkeling the island and seeing the beautiful coral reefs in the area. The many brightly colored, hard, and soft corals were in about 8 to 10 feet of water, including this very healthy-looking brain coral. We also saw numerous small fish, such as this yellow grunt, and some larger fish, like this mutton snapper. We saw fish that came in interesting shapes, like this trumpet fish, and this trunk fish. Our explorations of this part of Santa Catalina Island didn't end in the water. We also explored a cave that had plenty of large bats and a very healthy-looking constrictor that looks like maybe he's been feasting on those bats. A little farther along the shore, we decided to go for a hike to the interior of Santa Catalina, where we'd heard that there was the ruins of Pablo Escobar's house. We were joined by our fellow cruisers, Dave and Victoria, from the boat Eva Marie.
We successfully found the deteriorating stairway, which would lead us further into the jungle. As we climbed, we wondered, who is this Pablo fellow? And why would he build a home in such a remote location? Pablo Escobar was raised in a middle-class family in Medellin, Colombia. He was ambitious and eventually found his path toward wealth and power through a life of crime. Escobar was a Colombian drug lord who by the mid-1980s led one of the most powerful criminal organizations ever assembled. His empire reigned over soldiers and criminals. He had private airstrips and airplanes, a private zoo, and numerous mansions and apartments through Colombia. His estimated personal wealth was $24 billion. Thought of as a hometown boy in Medellin, Escobar was elected to Colombian Congress in 1982. To ensure his support within the community, Escobar spent millions of dollars on parks, schools, churches, housing, and stadiums. Escobar was ruthless. He let no opposition stand in his way toward progress. He murdered hundreds of people, policemen, politicians, their family members, even other criminals. We envisioned this home during its heyday and searched for hiding places where our fortune of drug money might be found.
As we passed between the islands of Santa Catalina and Providencia, we were in for one final treat for the day. In the shallow waters underneath the footbridge, we saw some spotted eagle rays. Although initially camera shy, we did manage to get close enough to get shots of one. More so than any other creature we've seen in the water, these rays really seem to fly over the bottom, moving along at a slow, graceful speed. This particular ray even had a couple of remoras hanging out on his belly. We returned to road trip feeling like we had a very full day.